everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren, and I've got my buddy Charles with me today.
Hi.
What's up? I'm so excited. Last time, I had an episode go up yesterday on Silence of the Lambs, and I didn't say what the title was until about 4 minutes in. So we're doing The Crush from 1993 with Alicia Silverstone. But yeah, we decided to, the last one we did was Fear. So we kind of decided on this problematic 90s erotic thriller journey. So enjoy. We've got a lot of random things. And I think it was on Amazon Prime at one point. I think just Google it. It's a weird movie. It pops up on streaming. Check it out.
Well, I was able to watch it last night on Amazon Prime because it's free with ads.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I bought it at a DVD shop, which is so weird because I was listening to a podcast this week and they were talking about this reality show. No, not this reality show. They were talking about 90 Day Fiance. What am I talking about? Like, I love that show. So in one of the scenes, this guy has this massive DVD collection, like in the background. And this podcast host just started to like roast about why do people have DVDs? And I was like, excuse me.
I mean,
I do.
Well, because they usually carry movies on them and people kind of want to watch them. I mean, it's not that difficult.
It's really not. And I was like, I'm sorry that everything that you like to watch is basic and available on streaming.
And I imagine he has a lot of very strong feelings about VHS tapes too.
I'm sure. I have some VHS tapes because some things weren't made on DVD.
I know. I mean,
or I taped videos off the TV.
I'm trying to think. There's like one movie I think I watched with you a while ago called Niagara that I don't think was ever released on DVD.
No, I had to buy it on Amazon.
Yeah,
I have it. We should totally do that because I'll just give you my
I
code. Yeah, it's so good. Like it's one of those films that it's super. I think I can probably find a trailer on YouTube so people can see it, and it's a sleeper. I'd be really surprised if anyone even knew about it or even saw it. Like I'd be surprised if anyone even listened to the episode, but who cares? Like it's a really good movie. It's worth buying.
Yeah,
because you can't see it anywhere.
And like you just did the Greg Rocky trilogy, right?
Yeah, well, we did Doom Generation and Nowhere. We didn't do Totally Fucked Up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which we could do. I mean, we could do later, but the two big ones are kind of like, those are the ones that have more recognizable people in them. But yeah. I love Iraqi. Apparently a lot of people do too. So that's awesome. So maybe, we'll just do Totally Fucked Up too.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that'll be really fun. But yeah, I mean, it's really weird too, because I never think about like the episode we did on Kids by Larry Clark. I was like, no one's going to know this movie. So some of the ones that aren't available on streaming, I guess you'd be surprised that people still know about it. So I'll put that on the short list.
Well, I was not able to find Kids on any streaming services, but I believe it's available on YouTube.
Oh, is it the full thing?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's the thing. A lot of things are available on YouTube, like Daily Motions and other like YouTube, like kind of the same, but they have a lot of like less restrictions, I think, on copyright. So they have a lot of movies on there and TV shows and stuff.
I think that's a lot of like obscure like television and like Lifetime movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. Totally good. It's a good place. Definitely look around and find things streaming because they're all over the place. But this is so awesome that we get to.
I was recently told about a television movie from like the early 90s where Susan Lucci plays a hairdresser, and in her basement is a gateway to hell.
What?
Yeah.
Is this Lifetime?
I don't know what it is, but it sounds incredible.
Dude, God bless Lifetime. Like, I mean, and literally this is, okay, going into The Crush that we're actually talking about, directed by Alan Shapiro, and this is 1993. What are your first thoughts on it? Because I'll circle back to something. When did you first see this?
So I remember seeing a trailer when it first came out. I guess so it was released on April 2nd, 1993.
Wow. And you were 10.
And yeah, I know, right? And so this was shortly before Jurassic Park came out. And, I that summer when Jurassic Park came out, I basically went insane. And so I saw it by my count about 12 times in the theater.
That's insane. Okay, me, you, and Mike should do a Jurassic Park episode.
I know, right?
Like, we have to.
And so I remembered like going to see Jurassic Park maybe like the fourth or fifth time, and there were people like getting movies or tickets to go see The Crush, and I was like, ugh, why are you doing that? And
Oh,
so,
wow.
but anyway, so I remember seeing a trailer for it, and I was like, whatever, and I was like, if it doesn't have dinosaurs, I don't care. So I used to really like to so like Fox used to like replay old episodes of like The Simpsons around like
Mhm.
7 o'clock or so, and so I used to like make my own VHS tapes. And so there was one episode of The Simpsons I like wanted to get, and so I like started recording, and then I had to leave to go do something, and so I just left the tape tape running, and so it just kind
Oh,
of like recorded the entire movie, which was like a kind of heavily edited version of
yeah.
Crush on Fox. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's still stupid, but I kind of love it.
Yeah, right? That's so funny that you bring that up because we have not shared notes yet. I literally have that I saw this in high school on TV and it
Oh,
was
nice.
edited. And I said, like, it's definitely one of those Sunday afternoon movies on TV.
Oh, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
back in the day when they would just on Sunday, it would just be like Fox would have like three movies on, like
Hmm.
just whatever, or NBC, any of those channels. They just had movies on like on the weekend afternoons because nobody, if there weren't sports on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so crazy. So what did you think about it when you saw it and you were like, "Oh, I got my Simpsons episode." And you're like, "This is weird."
Yeah, so watching this as an adult, specifically watching it last night, this movie like is so cringeworthy. Like
So
it's just
cringeworthy.
I mean Alicia Silverstone is incredible in this movie. I like love her so much.
Yeah, she really
But like
is.
I mean she's just so charming and so charismatic, and like I think she's just a really underrated dramatic actress.
Yeah,
Like I
she
mean,
really is.
yeah. So I mean, it's not that she did a bad job, but it's just at each scene I'm just like, oh god, it can't get any worse. Oh god, it's getting worse.
Yeah, really. And then I think I wrote in my like as I'm going through the plot, I think at some point it was pretty far down into the movie that I was like, he's 28? Question
Yeah.
mark, question mark, question mark. Like, can't you at least make him like college age?
I
Like
mean,
22? Like, that's bad. But like, don't make him almost 30.
yeah. Oh, it's like it's so awkward to watch.
It's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely one of those weird. I guess I'm calling this like the problematic series because Fear was extremely problematic in kind of the reverse way, like kind of like this is how you can see red flags. Like this was somewhat educational Fear because it was like okay, like she kind of recognizes this guy is crazy and that he's she needs to get away from him. But in this one, it's like the whole movie. I'm like, why are you still entertaining this girl? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why your door is still open. Like, your screen door is just open. So, like, anybody can walk in. He has a very, like, inviting relationship with her. Like, he never distances himself. Like, if you're renting a guest house, you should kind of just be anonymous. Like, you really
Yeah.
shouldn't have any contact with the family unless you know the family, but you don't.
Yeah. I mean, he should have probably moved as soon as he started to suspect that there's a problem.
Yeah.
I
And the
mean,
fact that
like,
he found out she was 14.
yeah, it's ugh.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have any more first notes?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I have yeah, exactly what I said before. Like one of those Sunday afternoon movies on TV. When I saw it, I'd already seen Clueless, and
Mm.
so I knew her as Cher Horowitz. And I saw it late, like I didn't see it obviously like near when it came out. But I was. It's so funny when I watched it now. I just watched it this afternoon that you can see and hear a lot of Cher's like catchphrases
Yeah,
like just the
yeah,
exact way she says it when she's like, "Come on." I was like, "Oh my god, that's
yeah, and
Clueless."
and like the timbre and notes of her voice, the way she like hits certain notes, like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
I know. You're like, "Oh my god, it's
I
Cher."
know.
But it's like really crazy Cher. Like
Hmm.
and then I said this totally feels like a Lifetime movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's just shot the way a lot of Lifetime movies are I think are still shot. I don't
Yeah,
really know because I don't keep up on it, but I know in college, me and my college roommate Chrissy, we used to like tape the Saturday night Lifetime movies because they were always like we were talking about the other day, like Mother, Can I Sleep with Danger?
mm.
Not Without My Daughter, and there were always these like weird celebrities in them. Like we should try to
Yeah.
track one down and do like a bonus on like a Lifetime movie. That's just
I
really crazy.
I've never listened to it, but I heard there's like a podcast called Mother May I Sleep With podcast
Oh,
that is
really?
like specifically dedicated to like old vintage Lifetime movies.
Fuck.
Yeah,
The thing is, like, what's the audience on that? Like,
I
how
don't
can you
know.
find them? A Lifetime probably has like a streaming thing where you can watch their old films. They have to,
Yeah, yeah,
especially during quarantine now, and like people are home a lot now, so it's kind of crazy. And also, I wrote it has so many similarities to Fear
oh,
that we
absolutely.
saw, or Fear definitely took a lot of things from this because it's the same location, supposed to be Seattle. They both have red cars. The dad has the red car, but in this situation, Nick has the red car. And it just has so many different similarities. I think even the street looked like the same street where Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon's dad were like fighting that time. Like it looks like
Oh,
the same
right.
street, like the same neighborhood. I'm assuming in Vancouver, and isn't that where they shot Fear?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think they did shoot it in Canada. Yeah, so that's kind of weird that it's had a lot of similarities. But this genre seemed to be really big in the early or most of the 90s. I don't know about late 90s, but definitely like the early to mid 90s. There's so many of these like Fatal Attraction, single white female, like obsessive guy or girl, like erotic thriller. Like it's
Yeah.
so crazy how this was a thing. Like
I mean, just off the top of my head, like single white female, like
another great one we should review.
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Oh, yeah.
Which I haven't really seen, but I've heard it's supposed to be like pretty good.
I haven't seen all the way through. Yeah, I think I've seen bits of that.
But yeah.
Yeah. But behind the scenes, what do you have for behind the scenes?
So apparently this was based on a true story.
Whoa. Woo. Weird.
Yeah, so apparently the director was apparently a college student back in the 70s, I believe.
Oh.
And like he moved into a guest house, and apparently there was like a teenage girl who lived in the main house who kind of like was always hanging around. And like the director, what's his name? Alan Shapiro?
Alan Shapiro, yeah.
Shapiro. He was like always trying to work, and this girl was always like hanging around, and like she kind of tried to like put the moves on him, and he was like, "Girl, no." And
I'm sure he said it exactly that way. Girl,
exactly
no.
like that. And so, but apparently the part where like he got a new paint job done on his car, and he came home, and there were the words "Alan sucks cock" carved into the hood. So I know,
that
right?
really happened?
Yeah, and so apparently the name of this teenage girl was Darian, who is the same, which is the same name of the character of Alicia Silverstone's character in the movie. And the real Darian sued the director, and they later had to change the name to Adrian after the lawsuit.
That's insane.
I know, right?
But why would he? Okay, first of all, really weird that he did this whole like this has really happened, which is strange enough. And two, if he was in college when this actually happened, why did he make Nick 28?
I guess it looked a little.
Did they need a draw? Is it because he was coming off Princess Bride or whatever the fuck else he did?
I mean, how do you say that actor's name?
I think it's hold on. I literally just looked it up. I think it's Elwes.
Elwes? Okay.
Elwes, I think. I think it's like Elvis, but it's Elwes.
Oh, okay.
I always said Yules, but that's not it. I think it's Elwes, I think. Cary Elwes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that probably makes more sense because, I mean, I guess he was, I don't know if he was like a huge star at the time, but he was pretty, you know.
Like, he was bigger than her, yeah.
Yeah.
Because hers is like introducing. Mm-hmm. Like hers is like introducing Alicia Silverstone. That's crazy.
Oh, so I wanted to ask you, do you know if this movie was made before she did the music videos for Aerosmith?
I believe that it was made before, or at least it was released before, because this was filmed in, I believe, 92.
Okay.
Because it came out in 93. So it was filmed in 92. And I believe, let me do a little Aerosmith digging. I know it's, let's see, it's Get a Grip is the album that she did the videos on. Okay. The videos and the album Get a Grip, Aerosmith, was released on April 20th in 93.
Oh, okay.
So it was literally released like it almost seems like they knew because it was released like the next week after The
Oh,
Crush
wow.
came out. So
Yeah.
it's like, and I'm sure the first video, I think the first video is Crying out of that series. It's kind of like a series, like those three
Yeah.
videos that she's in. I think it's Crying, and then I think it's Crazy, and then I think it's Amazing, or I don't know, two could be mixed up there. But
Okay.
that's really, I don't think The Crush was like a massive star. I have written out it was $6 million budget, made 13.6 at the box office.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I don't think it was like, it obviously wasn't like Jurassic Park. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a massive blockbuster, so I don't know that people who saw the Aerosmith videos knew that she was in The Crush.
Yeah.
I think and then she just got massive from the Aerosmith videos because those videos were huge.
Oh my God, I love
So
videos.
so good. Like God, they're some of the best videos
Oh, I know.
like ever. I mean, I really want to do an episode on like best music videos too, because I feel like there's
Yeah.
just so many good 90s music videos. But yeah, so this is technically her feature film debut.
Okay.
She was in the Wonder Years in like the early 90s as a guest star, like walk on. She did commercials. So she hadn't really done anything this big. So this was
Oh,
big.
cool.
Yeah, which is really cool. What else do I have? Oh yeah, and you mentioned, I think we talked about this off camera or off air, but she became emancipated at 15 in order to work the hours required for this film.
Yeah, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. But yeah, it seems in a lot of these like low budget early 90s films, and even with Fear too, you don't have much behind the scenes or production notes.
Yeah.
I guess because they didn't even think about, I mean, I guess they had tapes, but they weren't thinking about like special features and like, now they have like featurettes and they do tons of interviews on set because they know they're going to use it for like YouTube or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of cool that we don't have too much info, because I feel like, I don't know, I'd really be curious to know if there's an interview nowadays where someone asks them about it, like both of them, where they're like, so I mean, what do you think about The Crush now? Like, it's a great film, great acting, but the subject matter is just, I'm trying to think of another film that's recently come out that's been like that. I don't think so. I think people don't really, they tread lightly now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess in terms of like content, like, I mean, the 90s were kind of the Wild West.
It's true, yeah.
There just weren't really any rules. So
yeah, and they had like independent cinema was like coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't making things for big budgets. It was like just the interest. And I guess it's kind of a like, at least for, I don't know, it just seems very much like the whole film just obviously seems very much like we're in this guy's head. Yeah. And we're just like, everyone's just like, why are you entertaining this? But then again, I'm not a heterosexual male. I have no idea.
Well, I'm not either.
Yeah, like hit us up. Is this something that happens? I mean, I don't know. I've never been like I've never been like in that situation before, but it seems like the way they're painting it, like it seems like it's a very textbook situation. Like girl's obsessed with guy, he rebuffs her, and then she like accuses him of something. And then it kind of like, I was like, okay. And when I first watched it, I was like, okay, something's going to happen. Like no one dies, which is surprising. Because usually like, in things like Fear and stuff, like he died, but it was a little different that it was a girl too.
Yeah.
Definitely a different situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do you have any more behind the scenes notes?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, we don't have much. Just filmed in Vancouver. Yeah, director was sued. That's what I wrote. Okay, so getting into the plot points and story questions. All right, it opens with the song Hard to Get by Star Club, which I find really weird that that's how this is opening. Playing these lyrics, Hard to Get. And then he's like looking for places in Seattle. We don't know what he does yet. Just to jump ahead, one of my most 90s moments is the immense amount of maps that he has in order to get around to all these apartments. And none of them looked that bad either.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, these are okay. Like, these aren't horrible. And then, of course, he gets to this amazing guest house, which is out of a Pinterest dream.
Can I just say that as I was watching this opening montage of him just like going to look at these like shitty apartments, my anxiety started to get like ramped up because like, oh God, I'm trying to think about what I would do if I were looking for apartments, and
I know, I got triggered again.
I know, and I was like, oh God, this is honestly what hell is, trying to find a place to live.
It really is, and especially back then when there are no photos attached to any of the classifieds. So you just have to go blindly and be like, oh, it's a 2-bedroom. Oh no, it's not really. But it's yeah, it was a tough time.
I know. And so then after he is driving to the final place where he ends up moving in, he has that very unsettling run-in where Adrian slash Darian kind of where he almost kind of like hits her with her car, and she's wearing those like rollerblades and like that cool like outfit with like those sunglasses I just love.
I know, I love those sunglasses.
I know. I was like, oh my God, I want those.
I love how she wears them throughout the whole film too.
Yeah,
that's what I think is really cool.
And then we get
the rollerblades too are so nice.
I know. She's wearing like the elbow pads, and like, are rollerblades still a thing?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't even think they have skating rinks anymore.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't think rollerblades are a thing, although I don't know. I think it's basically skateboarding is like the sport, but maybe there's probably still some bladers out there. Hit us up if you're a blader.
I mean,
and you rollerblade around. That was pretty awkward when he like ran. He almost like ran her over, but then the look that he gave, he was just like staring at her, and I was like, she looks young, dude. She's.
What's going on?
Yeah, I was like, is this how we're starting? Oh, okay, cool. And then
then we get to this like amazing guest house. And
amazing.
This is like I like saw this guest house, and as soon as I saw it, I started thinking about like 90s like rental prices. And I just thought about, like, oh my God, you don't hear what the rent is, but it's probably something ridiculous, like $550 a month.
Oh, it's probably like $275. It's probably not even $5. Because this is also a weird plot point. I said, is it weird that the family's rich but wants someone around just to rent the house? The family's rich. Like, why don't you turn that into like a fucking closet? Or like that fucking weird ass attic that a whole ass carousel is in? Like, can we talk about the way that the dad is like definitely fucking weird?
Yeah, it is.
We'll get there to the fact where he talks to Nick about the fact that his daughter's like really blossomed, and I was like, okay, no, like this is not okay. This is so weird. And now this kind of makes sense why she's obsessed with this guy, because maybe her dad is like a fucking weirdo. And like, I don't know, like this might be like an even deeper psychological study on why this girl is the way she is, because they've forced her to skip 2 grades up, and she's got this weird like, I mean, this all kind of makes sense now when you look at it, that she kind of has this like hypersexuality because she's very mature. And I think they put her in all of these situations where she's 2 years above. So if she's 14, she's what, in 9th grade? That means she's a junior in school. So like she's dealing with people who are like 17 and definitely dating and definitely having sex. So I feel like she mentally is that age, and she's a girl too. And women just kind of mature like a lot when you're that young. Like teenage girls are just way more mature than teenage boys. It's just kind of a fact.
Yeah,
not a fact, but in like mature in different ways.
It's more or less a fact.
Yeah, okay. Not to offend anyone, but like boys are pretty dumb when they're like, under like 30.
Yeah.
So in that way, I feel like she probably does see something in him. Like it doesn't come out that way. It kind of comes out as a physical obsession, but I feel like she's probably trying to, I mean, I doubt she's dating anyone her own age.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Or even interested in anyone her own age, She doesn't really have friends either, except for we do see one friend. And I wrote Tara. That's who Tara. I mean, her name's Amber Benson in real life, and what's her name? Cheyenne in the film, but she's Tara, Willow's girlfriend in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So,
and and then I like saw her, and then I was reminded of that scene in Can't Hardly Wait when she's like, "You're all sheep. You're all sheep." Ah.
That is okay. Not to be a corrector, but that's actually Sarah Rue from Popular who says that. Okay. Can't Hardly Wait. Amber Benson is actually in that scene, and she's sitting She's one of the stoners, and she's sitting with Eric
Oh,
Balfour on the party steps. We will get to Can't Hardly Wait. That's another one that's on the list. But yeah, that's Sarah Rue. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she has like the really like weird crimped hair.
Yeah.
I don't even think they give Amber Benson any lines in that film.
Yeah, I don't know. First of all,
she is in it though.
Yeah, no, I remember her being. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, she is in it. But you were saying she definitely plays the same character that she plays.
Yeah, her character seems very meek and soft spoken, and I guess she ultimately proves to be pretty cool in the end, but she just doesn't really. I guess Adrian's character is just so like dominating that she's kind of forced to take a submissive role, I guess.
And they're not really friends.
They're kind of like obligated friends just because I guess their parents knew each other.
Yeah, pretty much is what it seems like.
Yeah.
I just wrote, I love this guest house, a Pinterest dream. And then I wrote, does he know she's 14? Does he care? 14, man. She's not even 16.
I know.
Like, she was 16 in real life when they filmed it, but like, why is she 14? It's just no.
Anyway, yeah.
That's just no. And then I wrote, he's a writer, of course, reporter. Reporter. I wrote, reporter.
Yeah.
Then I wrote shower butt scene.
Oh, I have a quick note after he has his first day of work. He has that very stern boss.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a scene when like he's at his desk writing, and he's just sort of like wearing a Hawaiian shirt and like smoking a cigar, and like she kind of like comes by and like lustfully leans on the door frame, and it's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? She does talk very seductively too.
Yeah.
Like she's always like, so what are you doing? I'm like, oh god.
I was like,
I was like, no. But yeah, then when she like creeps into the house all the time, and that time where he's in the shower, and then she's like, I think he knows she's in there, and he's like, why didn't you knock? She's like, you didn't hear me, but I'm still in here even though you're in the shower. And then of course you see like his butt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan, whatever your fucking name is. But then awkwardly, like, hey, we'll get there. I wrote, it's playing piano. When she's playing piano, they have like a big function in the house, like some big party, and Nick is walking into the house. He's like, oh, might as well, they have alcohol. And then he hears her playing piano, and then he like walks up to her and like tries to get even closer and is like really into it. And I'm like, why are you pursuing this girl? She's 14.
It doesn't look very good.
No, like, what are you doing? We're not in another country, even though I think that's fucking weird too. But
I mean,
it's just
my guess in his mind, he was just trying to be friendly. But like,
why?
I mean,
who is going to be friends with it? Why is a grown man going to be even friends with a 14-year-old girl?
I mean, you shouldn't be. Like,
you definitely shouldn't be. But for the sake of this film, yeah.
And I just wanted to add that during the party scene, I loved her dress and her hair.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
white dress.
Yeah, and like as she's playing piano and she's wearing the pearls.
Yeah,
I thought she looked beautiful.
She did. She looked really cool. She has amazing hair.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She has like such great hair, even in Clueless.
Yeah,
like she has so much hair. It's always like it's very, like it's the very like covetable hair. It's very like 90s hair that everybody wanted.
Yeah, it's just like so full,
Yeah,
like,
it's so thick. You can tell it's like so thick and like flouncy. Hair commercial for sure. Definitely hair commercial hair. And I wrote, I love how you can see Cher. Like, like you could see her. I was like, oh, this is what Cher wore, except she wore that sluttier version when she went out with what's his name? Christian.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh. Then I wrote, fear similarity. When she's like, hey, let's go drive somewhere, and he actually goes. I was like,
that's not a good idea.
No. And then I wrote total fear similarity, beat up car, just like Mark Wahlberg had, definite Seattle, obsession. And then I wrote, was there a market for this kind of obsessive love story? Like, did people want this? And then I said, whoa, why is he out with her at night?
My guess is that like screenwriters back in the 90s are like, well, yeah, she's underage, but they're both really attractive, so I guess it's fine.
I know.
So, like,
It's really crazy how things have changed and I want to say a short period of time, but not really that short. But yeah, I mean, even in Taxi Driver, wasn't Jodie Foster like 14 in that?
yeah, I believe so.
And she was a prostitute, I think.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
a prostitute. Yeah, so it's like things have really changed, like what we found acceptable and what actually passed the censors is just it's a lot, but this is a subject I was just talking about it with my friend the other day, and I was like, this is so weird that they have this whole like girl with older guy is okay kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
in Palo Alto, which came out in like 2016 or whatever, that was directed by Gia Coppola. Like Emma Roberts is like sleeping with James Franco in the film.
Oh,
And like
really?
he is the coach of her high school team.
Ooh.
Or I think she has slept with him. And I'm like, what? Like this is not legal. And this is like 2016. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, okay. So they're still doing this. But all right, back to like them at night. What did you think about when they go to that like lighthouse?
Well, well, it's really pretty. They're I forget what she says, but like she's like says something extremely seductive, and then they kiss, and I just wrote down, I am so uncomfortable right now.
So uncomfortable. And it was
And
way too long.
I
Like
know, right?
he
And
didn't
then
pull away that fast.
yeah, and then it reminds me of a quote from the First Wives Club when Goldie Hawn says, "I'm going to use the F word, felony."
Oh yeah. Oh my god, the First Wives Club is so good. Like so good. That I think I have to do that. I don't even care if people don't care about it. Like I'm fucking doing First Wives Club.
If they don't care about it, then that's their problem.
Yeah, it's a literal classic, and
Oh
it
my
should
god.
have swept the Oscars.
Oh my god, I
I
agree.
just don't know how it didn't, and they should not remake it under any circumstance. It
No,
needs
I mean
to stay the same.
the first movie is perfect. Is literally the perfect movie.
Yeah, it's great.
I
It's
mean,
so
yeah.
amazing. It's the best time. And then I wrote, okay, so then they make out, which is not, well, they didn't make out, they kissed. Okay, it's
Yeah.
really fucking awkward. And he's like, come on, let's go. Oh my God, I just realized what I've done. Takes her home. And I love that the next scene is just him furiously pouring vodka into this glass, being like, oh fuck, what did I just do?
Yeah, I my first thought was, girl, vodka doesn't fix everything.
Yeah, no. Like no. Like you in some trouble because you just definitely crossed that line
Yeah,
and I don't know what's going to happen next.
yeah,
And then I wrote, why is he always smoking a cigar? That's kind of an odd choice to
yeah.
have a cigar. I don't know. It just seems like more of an older man kind of thing.
My dad was always really anti like cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah, but like he personally liked to smoke a pipe.
Oh, yeah. My dad
And
used to smoke cigars actually.
yeah, yeah. And so like I was like, well, I mean, you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of seems kind of like an intellectual thing to do, I guess. You
I
know?
guess while you're writing a story on like some embezzlement scam, which is like what he was writing, which is I find hilarious that he writes the story to turn in and she fucking rewrote it
Yeah, that was great.
like better than him. And he was just like reading it, like, what the fuck? This isn't mine. I was like, oh shit, it's some crazy story. And then the guy's like, this was amazing. Way better. Like, great style, great this, great that. I was like, damn, she's just killing it. And then she's like, yeah, I rewrote it.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy it. And then it actually happens when we meet Amy, the
Oh,
photographer friend, co-worker, boo of Nick eventually.
yeah.
And their first meeting, Adrian and Amy, oh my god.
That was pretty awesome.
That might actually be my favorite scene since I didn't write it down. That actually might be like my favorite scenes are all the interactions between Amy and Adrian.
Wait, was the first time they met when like he had the party?
Yeah, in the backyard.
Right. Okay.
hmm
Oh no.
And then
Well,
the boss comes. Is that when she sees him?
yeah. Well, no.
Fine.
Well, I believe there's also that might come before this, but there's also that scene when like Adrian comes, like hears him like out front, and she comes running up, and she's like, "Nicholas, darling."
Oh,
And
that's right.
yeah. And
And she's in the room, right? She's like in
yeah,
the
yeah.
house. Yeah.
And she like sees Amy, and she's kind of like stares her down,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, ooh,
I was like,
ooh.
ooh, I was like, if this was a more, I guess if she was older, like she would kill her.
Yeah.
Like she would be, if this is more of like, if she was, I don't know, like 20, and this was like a different kind of film where she was just obsessed, she would probably kill her because she's in
Yeah.
the way. I mean, she's totally in the way. And she never leaves. Like she literally just gets to be with him eventually.
Yeah.
It's just like so crazy. I mean, Amy, not Adrian.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, when Adrian first sees Amy, yikes. And I think, is this before this might be before she's like sunbathing outside his window in
I
that bikini.
yeah, I believe I believe the sunbathing scene is like right before this.
Okay, yeah, so she's definitely trying to entice him.
Oh yeah, yeah. For the sunbathing scene, the first thought that came to my mind was, "Is this Melrose Place?"
Oh my
Um,
god, yeah, the color, like it's like bright blue,
yeah,
and it's like she has the same sunglasses on that are so cool. I
yeah,
was like, oh my god, so cool. And then, okay, so then I think Amy has now seen Adrian and Nick like around, she's seen them kind of interact, and
yeah,
she knows that she has a crush on him. And at that point, she tells Nick, like, you really need to be more forceful with her and like not blur the line. And I
yeah.
was like, amen, Amy.
Yeah, I actually thought Amy might have been the only person in this movie with like some common sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally. And she's like, I've been there. Like, I know what it's like, but like you're like you were saying on text, like he's the adult and he just keeps treating her like an adult.
yeah, yeah.
No, he never is like, yo, no. And then we get to like that really fucking weird bit where like he creeps around into the main house.
Oh wait, before we
Oh,
to that, there's that scene during the party when like Amy sort of goes out back to like collect sticks, and like
oh, that's
she like stumbles into like that tree with the wasp nest, and like
mhm.
Adrian is just like standing right there, and like
Yeah.
she is just like so terrifying, and she just gives that speech about how like wasps are social insects, Amy, and then Amy's like, oh, does that mean they want to be friends? Ha ha ha.
No, it's so true. And anytime there are any bugs in any film, they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I would just went through this in Silence of the Lambs. I was like, of course he collects moths. Like, no, that's fucking weird. Like, that's super weird. And then there's that one point. Well, yeah, so now the wasp is definitely like a huge foreshadowing. But when he goes into her room, which I'm like, why are you in the house?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Because and like, what was the reason he went there over there in the first place? Because like the door was open or something?
I no, I don't think so. I feel like he didn't know that she was there. Like he definitely
Yeah.
thought that she wasn't there. I think he was just snooping.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess in his mind he's like, well, I'm a reporter, so it's fine.
I know. I think he wants to find out more about her and like what
Mhm.
her deal is. Like he's oddly intrigued by her, and it's almost like a bit of a Lolita thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I've never seen Lolita because I just know like I tried to read the book and it was just really like ugh.
yeah. Everyone keeps. It's weird because like it's basically Lolita is basically about like a pedophile, right? But everyone,
So, right?
but like everyone like loves the novel, right?
Yeah.
Or I mean,
That's why my friend was like, "Oh, here, I had to read it in school," and I was like,
oh,
"In school?" And I was like, okay." But it was published in like the 50s.
okay.
Then they did the one in 97 with like, is it Jeremy Irons? Isn't he
Oh,
the
yeah,
main
yeah. I think you're
guy?
right.
And then Kubrick did the one in 62, which I've never seen. And then I think is there another one older than that? Oh, no, I don't think so. I think they're just those two. But yeah, that one I was just like, ugh, this is kind of weird. But that one is almost the same, like, dang, isn't she like 14 in that one? Like, she's young.
No, I'm not really sure what the plot is. Frankly, it's just a novel that sort of like sort of like gets brought up from time to time. And I was like, oh, I'm good,
Yeah, yeah,
like
so totally. But yeah, let's get back to he's snooping in her room.
yes,
And then she has like it's really weird. Like it's very invasive to be in anyone's room anyway when they don't know that you're there or anything. But then this whole scene like definitely just fucking weirded me out. She
Yeah.
has those weird beetles like on
Yeah.
her desk, and she has like all this stuff about different bugs, like or different beetles and stuff. And she has like I guess they're stuffed or like taxidermy like kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure if you can stuff insects. I think they're probably just like mounted, you know.
Oh
So,
yeah, and they just like freeze them or like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's
I'm
what
not.
yeah.
I'm not like sure of the details, but
It's so
um,
creepy. And then
yeah.
when he snoops in her room and then he like hears her in the bathroom and then he like knows she's there and then like ducks in the closet.
Yeah, I was like, oh God.
I was like, no. I was like, this cannot be happening. And then she's like, getting ready, like taking a shower or whatever. And I was like, okay, she did not need any nudity. And how was that okay? Even though it was the back and it was really quick, I was like, no, like this is not okay. And then when she realizes he's there and she like takes her clothes off and like faces the mirror or faces the closet, I was like, and I think he like hits up against the hangers.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
know.
yeah, he makes a noise, and I was
Oh
like, she
God.
knows you're there, and she's looking at you. I was like, ew, this is so wrong. And then when she leaves and goes into the bathroom, like she always knew he was there, and then he like opens the door, like the closet, like he goes out of the closet door, and he's fucking drenched, like
No.
sweating. I was like, ugh, I don't know. I was like, I don't like this. I just wrote, he's sweating when he comes out. Fucking gross. And then I wrote, okay, because then oh, that's right, the dad comes home. He's like, hey, what are you doing in here? And he's like, I had to return a book
Yeah, I
to
was like, that's not a good excuse. Like,
yeah, I was like, really? I was like, no. Like,
I mean,
why
I was
are
like,
you in the
I was
house?
like, so I guess the father is fine, but the 28-year-old man was returning a book to his teenage daughter who was home alone. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
And also the fact that he's in the guest house, he's not a family friend. He doesn't
yeah,
know that. Why are you in the house? Like you don't
yeah.
know her.
I
It's
mean,
not like she's someone you grew up with.
it kind of seems like if you want to have like I don't know if relationship is the right word, but if you want to be like friendly with like the people you're living with, if there's a minor, you probably want there to be a witness or two, just
Yeah, definitely. But
standing
then this
around.
question is all answered because guess what? The dad is building a motherfucking carousel in their goddamn attic.
Yeah, that just keeps getting weirder.
Keeps getting fucking weird. I mean, and not to mention, and then I just wrote, okay, what the fuck is with the carousel in the attic? Nick should move out now. Like,
Yeah,
if not even for Adrian, for the fucking dad, because like something's not right there.
yeah. I mean, he should have probably moved out after they kissed. I
Yeah,
mean, but
even though that wouldn't have been, she would have found him because in the end she finds him anyway. So
yeah,
like,
yeah,
she would have totally found him. But then I wrote, then that's when the dad starts talking about Adrian in like a really weird way. He's like, yeah, she's really smart and she's really blossomed over the last few years. And then Nick is like, yeah, I've noticed. I was like,
well, wait,
what?
what?
Er? Like, no, you've just been living there for like a fucking month, dude. Like, how are you noticing anything? And why are you even commenting? And why is the dad talking about this? And then he's talking about like, oh yeah, it's gonna be so weird when like, I get that call, some guy with his heart on at the door. I was like, okay, no.
All
Like
right, you've spent a little too much time thinking about this.
way too much time. I am not okay. The mom is essentially completely non-existent from this.
Yeah,
And it seems like there's some weird male energy happening in this house, which may completely explain all of Adrian's actions. Like,
yeah. I
not
mean,
saying what happened or what didn't happen, but this would make a lot of sense if there was some serious trauma in this girl's life when she was young,
yeah,
because
um,
that's kind of where it's all coming from.
yeah,
And I said, what? He's 28. Why is he trying to be your friend? That's when we first find out how old he is, too.
right.
Like, I think we don't really know until he's like, I'm 28, you're 14. I was like, oh my God, him saying that out loud just really creeped me out.
Yeah,
And then when he asked, like, oh, what book were you borrowing? And then he's like, Wuthering Heights. And then the dad's like, oh, that sounds kind of girly to me, or too femme, or like something weird.
oh
He made
yeah,
a
yeah.
strange comment, like, oh, that sounds kind of femme. I was like, what? Okay.
I mean, I've never read Wuthering Heights, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's supposed to be good or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Isn't it Bronte?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. And then the next note is, ha, the cocksucker on the car.
Yeah.
Red car, just like fear. I love when he unveils his like new shitty car that he got a paint job. It's like an old Valiant, and then he shows the like Amy, and he's like, "Look at this great!" And he's just this cocksucker.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is just like when Mark Wahlberg busted up William Peterson's car and said, "Now I've popped both your cherries." That note in here, and I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty bad."
I was
But
like,
yeah.
them's fighting words.
I know, I was like, get ready. Get fucking ready. And then, of course, I think that she now thinks that he likes Cheyenne. So she fucking doesn't properly secure her saddle.
The way she like neutralizes Cheyenne is like the bougiest, upper class blue, white collar way to like take someone out.
Yeah, it really is. I am going to what I forgot what she said, but she's like, I'm going to redo your like fucking I don't know I'm not a fucking
I don't either. Did you ever have to ride horses?
Yeah, and I didn't have to ride horses, but I did ride in a summer camp. I went to a sleepaway camp. That's a whole other episode. And I really want to do the film Camp Nowhere because I love it. So I'll tell my camp stories and during that film because it's kids. Nice. It's fucking amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
What? Okay, I gotta see it. It's literally the best film because it's literally Christopher Lloyd. Okay, this sounds really strange when I tell you the plot out loud. I think it's like 93 or something. But all these kids, like 4 kids and their friends, kind of sort of, they have to go to these like really shitty summer camps for the summer, and they're like, "Man, this sucks. We should just rent our own camp and take our parents' money." And they're like, yeah, we should just rent our own camp. And they're like, what? We need an adult to like front this so that it seems legit. So they get like Christopher Lloyd out of some trailer in like Ohio. And he's like this weirdo. And then he essentially like pretends to be the camp director of all these different themed camps. There's like a computer camp. There's like a acting camp, a military camp, and a fat camp.
Wow.
So all of these kids end up like all the kids from their grade find out about it and they're like, what the fuck? You're starting your own camp? And they essentially like it's Lord of the Flies kind of. Like Christopher Lloyd's like, okay, cool, see you guys in 2 months. Here's all your money. And they just fucking go wild and like shit happens. The parents come, like they gotta like fake it. Like it's pretty entertaining, but it's also like pretty awesome that they managed to like pull this off for as long as they did.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like yeah, it just totally has that whole vibe, like camp vibe. But yeah, it is definitely the best way to describe that. She totally neutralized her in the bougiest way. And the way she falls down and then when they show her face where she's like, yeah. Got her. I was like, damn.
Oh, yeah,
man.
she says something like super like snarky. She's like, oh, sorry, Amy, you hit your head or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Then she just like she's like, huh, she's taken out. Like I'm back in the game. And then they flash to Nick like chilling whatever, and then he sees. I think it's when he goes to turn in his assignment, and there's nothing on the disc. And he's
yeah, oh my god, this scene was so intense.
Yeah, he's like, fuck, oh my god, you've got to cover for me.
Oh, so I have a quick scene to add before this.
Yeah.
So like, there's a scene where like, Nick goes out to the woods out back to meet Cheyenne. And I guess she doesn't show up, and I was like, I mean, do you really want to meet with another teenage girl alone in the woods? I'm sure this was not intentional, but he's wearing a Penn State sweatshirt.
Yeah, he
Penn
is.
State, I believe, is a school where Jerry Sandusky was a coach.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't they do a movie about that?
What?
Didn't they do a movie about that?
Yeah, I think they did an HBO movie called Paterno about the football coach. But he like may or may not have known, or like might have known, kind of looked the other way.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was good. And then there's like that really scary scene where Adrian just like appears out of nowhere again, and she's like, "Hey, Nick."
Yeah. Hey. I was like, "Oh, this popping up."
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. This is just exactly how Mark Wahlberg popped up on Gary before he fucking killed him.
Hey,
He was just like, hey, Cary.
hey, Cary.
Hey. I was like, whoa. I wouldn't be that mad, but
I
I
mean,
would be mad.
I think I'd be okay being murdered by Mark Wahlberg, but I mean,
I mean, yeah, in theory, I guess.
I, I guess in theory, I guess in reality, it's probably pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, of course he has that. And it's really funny because Jai was listening to our Fear episode, and she's like, "I love that you guys talk for like 5 minutes about Mark Wahlberg's kissing style." I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "We've got very different, we got very different episodes with different co-hosts on." Like, Jai's like, "Yeah, I feel like ours are so super serious," and I was like, "Well, they're not. Like, we'll be funny. We'll talk about like." I don't know, kissing styles. Like, no, it's really funny. She's like, I love listening to you guys talk about like all the ins and outs of like all the like, funny situations. I was like, yeah, well, Mark Wahlberg's kissing style is definitely something, and it carries through every film you fucking see.
I mean, I can just only imagine that being kissed by Mark Wahlberg is probably a life-changing experience.
I mean, Dirk Diggler.
Honestly,
let's be all the way real here.
mm-hmm.
Like, like I think he recently celebrated his like wedding anniversary, and I saw it on like Twitter or whatever, and he was like, happy like anniversary to my wife, and they have like 4 kids, like 2 boys, 2 girls, and I was like, damn,
yeah,
she is man, she's a lucky one.
Yeah.
They've been married for like a while, like 10 years or something, and I was like, oh well. Yeah, anyway, so now, okay, we found that weird snafu where he doesn't have his assignment at the horrible magazine called Peak, like Pique, which is
okay.
name. And he doesn't have it, and he's like, oh shit, she fucking erased everything. So he goes back and like looks at the disc, and the floppy disk, another 90s moment.
Yeah.
Floppy.
This like sequence of scenes was really intense. Just like,
yeah, and then he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Finds out there's nothing, finds that trap door. There's a motherfucking shrine underneath the guest house. There's some full-on like voodoo witchcraft shit going on.
Yeah.
And also it's weird that he finds it. Does he blow the candles out? Or I
don't remember.
He doesn't.
I guess he just lit it on fire.
Yeah, I was like, how is his house not burning down? There's like a bunch of candles.
Yeah.
Even in the end, like the final, like, big fight scene, there's like a bunch of candles burning. I was like, what's up with the candles?
I mean, in Adrian's defense, I'm pretty sure I had a shrine exactly like this.
To Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying shrines tend to happen.
Yeah, they definitely do. Like, shrines are definitely like a thing. And God knows we all love a shrine when we're like 14.
Yeah.
And then I said, yeah, basement in the guest house? ? And I was like, the shrine, dude, get out.
Yeah,
get out now.
I mean, how many more red flags do you need?
Yeah. And then I said, okay, but is there a reason why he has so many women after him? Like, it's like he's got some kind of weird pheromone. He's got the girl. He's got Amy. He's got Adrian. He's got that weird blonde girl that was at the party. Remember when? This is also a really funny scene when she first met Amy and Adrian first met Amy, and Nick is talking to that blonde woman at work, and she's like, "Yeah, don't worry. I think he likes you. He likes women with small breasts."
I was like, "Oh, you a savage bitch."
I was like, "Serve. The library is open." Like, read, like, the shade of it all.
And just to add to that, he and the mom tend to have like a pretty good like relationship too. Like,
yeah,
I mean, she seems very chatty around him. That's all I'm saying.
I know. But that would be completely appropriate to have an affair with a 28-year-old man who's renting your guest house.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a fucking porn waiting to happen.
I mean, not only is it appropriate, I mean, it's to be expected. Like,
yeah, like, get your life, girl. He's hot.
Yeah, I mean, your husband seems like he's kind of on the way out. So
on the way out, or like maybe possibly assaulted someone.
Like on the way out, like I don't really like it kind of
like 15 to 20.
Like, yeah, it doesn't really seem like he has a lot left.
No. And then I said, okay, now Amy is sleeping over. Shit's getting real.
Oh yeah. Can I just add, during that very intense scene where like he's like frantically like writing the article, and she's like calling him, and then like he unplugs the phone, and then she starts to leave message after message after message. It sort of reminds me of me whenever we go out to brunch, and I always say to myself, you know what? Instead of getting eggs Benedict, I'm going to browse the menu, and like, you know, and then like my mind is like, what are you doing? Get eggs Benedict, you idiot. And I was like, I just want to see what else. Get eggs Benedict.
Yeah, get eggs Benedict. Oh God, I want eggs Benedict.
Oh my God, it's been like months.
It really has. I also like, yeah, me and Charles haven't seen each other in a long time, and we haven't gone to have eggs Benedict because the world's on fucking fire.
Yeah.
And like, it's just something you can't order on takeout. It doesn't travel well, and it's really complicated to make. Like, it just has a lot of ingredients that you just don't really need to buy for any other reason. But goddamn, I want some eggs Benedict. I might have to try to make them. Like, it's getting that serious now.
It's possible. Like, I've heard that like sorry, I'm blanking on the word. Like the
hollandaise.
Yeah, or no, in order to like poach the eggs, you have to get like the right balance of water and vinegar, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you do.
And I don't know, it just seems like it's kind of complicated.
It is. I'm sure it is, and I'm sure there's people that are like, it's not that hard.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So okay, now they're sleeping together. They're knocking boots. This is a problem.
Yeah.
And oh God, when they're sleeping in the middle of the night and she's like standing on the edge of the bed.
Yeah, that was.
And then then he wakes up and then he's like, and she's like, not there. I was like, she was there.
Yeah.
She was there. And then also when he gets all those crazy voicemails, he's like getting a locksmith to change put a fancy lock on the door.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, do you really want this? It's $40 extra. I was like, you don't own this house. Like, how are you putting locks on someone else's house and not moving out and telling the parents like, hey, I don't think this is like a good situation for me. Like, I need to move out. Like, why are you, is this that cheap? What's the rent?
I mean, it's got to be pretty. I mean, it's not like they need the money that badly, right?
No, that's the thing. They're like, it's weird. What's weird when the mom was like, yeah, we just want to rent this out to have someone around, even though like we're out of town. I think she did mention like the dad's out of town a lot.
Like they just want okay. I guess that kind of makes sense, but
just want a warm body, like
I mean, I guess like if they're out of town, they just want someone to watch over the like property or something. But I mean, I guess
the fact that you have a teenage daughter who's definitely like always home because she's not young enough to have a babysitter.
Mm-hmm. So
like that's just kind of weird that you would have. I don't know. The whole thing was fucking weird. And then then I love that morning after when Adrian's like what's her name? Amy is walking to her car, and immediately I thought, okay, this bitch has cut the brake lines of this car.
Yeah.
But I was like, she should have. But she's like rolling up on her roller skates. She's like, hey, Amy, what'd you do last night? and she's just like, what? She's like, I think she asked him, like, did you guys sleep together? And she's like, you know what, Adrian, like someday you're going to like, know about this and blah, blah, blah. But like, that's going to be a long time from now. And like, go play.
Okay. Cool. So the exact line, I believe.
Oh yeah. What is the exact line?
So I think this is like towards the end of the conversation, but Adrian's like, gosh, Amy, when I grow up, maybe I can be just as smart as you are. And then like Amy says, Adrian, go play.
Oh yeah. God, what am I gonna title this episode? It might be like Adrian, go play.
Yeah.
Like so weird. And then she drives off. I'm like, the brake lines weren't cut? What the fuck? Why are you not trying to kill this bitch already?
I don't know. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Then we flash to every photographer's fucking dream, that goddamn dark room.
Oh my God. Like, I wanted to be a photographer after watching this scene.
Amazing. I was like, I'm really triggered. The fact that I can't have this as like a separate area. Although who goes into a dark room and leaves the lock outside?
I mean,
open?
I mean, just probably not a good thing for safety reasons.
I think it's kind of fucking scary. But then this is in my worst scene.
Oh my God, this scene is like terrifying.
Terrifying. She fucking uses the wasp knowledge that she has. She's actually like probably going to be an entomologist because she's really into like bugs and knows all about their habits.
Yeah.
But then I just wrote the wasp scene. Oh my God. She just essentially locks her in this dark room. the girl puts the fan on, like Amy puts the exhaust fan on because of all the chemicals, and then she fucking comes by and she takes like a wasp nest and like inserts it in the fucking vent
Yeah,
and closes it with cardboard.
I know.
And I was like, oh, and then she's literally just like swarmed with these wasps. And I was like, oh my God. And I totally forgot she had the window. Thankfully, she had the window that she could like throw and, like, but what the fuck did that do? They didn't even show how she got out. Did she climb out of that small window?
I don't think they say. I mean, my guess is like maybe she was able to call for help or something.
I guess
But
that was
yeah,
scary.
no, like that scene always like sort of stuck with me. I guess just because I was like, ooh, bees are so scary.
They really are. It's really scary.
Although I have to say, I believe that the insects are supposed to be yellow jackets, which are kind of wasps, but the animals they actually use are bees, and you can tell because they're like kind of fuzzy. So,
Okay.
like, so I mean, I imagine that they probably had to do that just for safety reasons. But
Oh yeah, and she didn't have any stings on her.
yeah,
Like when you see her later, when they're like, "Oh, she's in the hospital," I was like, "She didn't die." Like, well, not that. I mean, can you die from like hundreds of stings?
oh yeah,
You can.
yeah, and I mean, if you're allergic, I think it can cause you to go into like anaphylactic shock, which basically shuts down the respiratory system.
But what if you're not allergic? Can you still die from like hundreds of bee stings?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's why like you hear these stories about like killer bees kind of like being like so scary, is because people are saying that like they just like swarm, and like the thing is like one bee sting isn't really that big of a deal. But if you're getting like hundreds, then it does like it is poison being injected to your body.
Holy
Um,
shit!
yeah, have you ever been stung
Yes.
by a bee?
Yeah, just like I think maybe twice. I
I
think.
okay.
Have you?
Yeah. I was up in the mountains of North Carolina, and I was sort of like walking through a side yard, and I think there was like a wasp nest kind of like buried in the ground, and I like got stung like on my leg like 5 or 6 times.
5 or 6 times?
Yeah.
You like stepped on it like you didn't know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like really hidden to the ground, so it just doesn't really.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's weird because like I was pretty young. I was maybe like 9 or 10, and I like remember, and I'm not really particularly allergic to bee stings, but I remember afterwards feeling like kind of sick, just like
Oh wow, and you had like 5 or 6.
yeah. But
That's crazy.
yeah, but I
And
mean,
then yeah. Oh yeah, moving along to that fucking horse competition when
yeah.
she thinks that he's gonna be there
Um,
and he's not there.
from this point on, this is when I kind of am. This is when like I feel like the tension has been building up, like
Yeah.
and building up throughout the movie. And I feel like this is to the point where I'm just like, oh god, this is gonna be bad. It's
Yeah.
gonna be really bad.
I wrote, whoa, things get real after that horse
Oh yeah.
competition. And then she does the competition. She sees that he's not there. Then okay, first of all, I'm assuming taking cabs everywhere. She took the cab to that museum party where the magazine's having a party, and she fucking makes a scene in front of everyone.
No.
And then he pulls her, like I think she kisses him, and he like, oh no, she slaps him because he's like, get away from here, da da da. And she slaps him in front of all these colleagues. He pulls her around to like a hallway or like the side to be like, what the fuck, like get away from me, blah blah blah. And then she just starts screaming, and it's like very evident that like everyone thinks that she's being assaulted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, like this is really bad. And then he's like, oh my god, he like goes back home. That's when the fucking cops are all there.
Mhm.
And then they arrest him for sexual assault with a minor. And then you see her and she's like all beaten up. And I'm like, when the fuck did she do this to herself? Like she's all beaten up in the blanket. The dad's like choking him and he's like, what the fuck? Like stay away from my daughter. And I was like, this is crazy. And then he gets arrested. And then they like they like interrogate him, and he's like, no, absolutely not, I didn't do anything, this is fucking crazy. And they're like, okay. And then okay, they do a rape kit, I'm assuming, and they find semen that matches his blood type. He says that like, oh, she must have stolen a condom, but did she?
I mean, you know,
She has to have, right?
I mean,
How else would they get
yeah,
it?
I mean, that's the only explanation that makes sense, I guess. Um,
But they said they found it like in her.
yeah,
They didn't say they just like found a condom. Like, and if they do a rape kit, like they know where it is. Like, that's whoa. That's like next level. Like, she's really like going hard. And then she's like, so anyway, this happens. It's like, oh fuck. He's still in the goddamn house. They come
mhm,
down. I mean, he's gonna move. He's been looking at places. He looks at that one place. It's like kind of weird and sketchy. The shower doesn't work. But he's like, I don't care. I'll be in here. I want to be in here next week. Like, I don't care about a month. Then what he does is like he goes to, I think he goes to, hold on, I have it written down here. He goes to the, like he gets out on bail or something, and he
mhm,
goes down, and then he's in that limo with his boss and I guess the lawyer that the boss hired. And I
yeah.
was like, you've done this before. Like, this is a Me Too moment. You definitely have some lawyer on retainer for these specific type of allegations, because he was like, hi. And then he was like, okay, leave, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, get out of there. And I was like, oh my God. I love how they're all telling you now to get out of there after there's like a court case, but you should have been the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Like the whole time. And then he goes, I mean, this is all just like the huge like build up moment. He's moving his shit out, and then he goes into the house, and I was like, why the fuck is he in the house?
Oh,
Why is he not leaving?
well, before he goes into the house, I believe that's when Cheyenne finally shows up at his door, and they finally have a chance to talk.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And like
She's
that's
like,
when,
there's a diary. And he's like, I can't go in there. I can't get it.
yeah,
And she's like, I'll do it. And yeah, she goes in. Yeah, I guess he is not looking for her though. Like,
yeah.
she already said she was going in the house to get the diary. Like, why the fuck are you going in the house? Again,
I,
why are you in the house?
I mean, I don't know. I think you're making it worse for yourself.
Totally.
I mean,
Then, like, just to speed things up, there's a fucking huge, crazy fight at that goddamn carnival carousel shit in the attic.
mhm.
And the dad comes in, Adrian's like fighting, they're screaming, they're like, oh my God, blah,
Oh
blah,
yeah.
blah.
Well, Adrian has like that bar that they use to like pull the attic door down,
Oh, that's right.
and
Yeah, she can get up there.
like she like as Nick is trying to walk away, I think she like basically attacks him and like pushes him down the stairs. And then
Oh,
while
that's
he's
right.
tapped out, that's like when the dad comes home.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick sort of gains consciousness and makes his way up to the attic, and then the dad finally busts in the front door, and he basically comes up into the attic to find like him kind of on top of Adrian after Adrian goes
Oh, that's
attacking him.
right. Yeah.
And
I was like,
so
this does not look
and
good.
so then he starts, and so then he attacks Nick and basically is like, trying to kill him, and then that's when Adrian basically attacks her dad.
Yeah, she like hits him with that bar.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this is weird.
And then
Cheyenne is up there tied to a horse,
yes.
like handcuffed to a horse.
And then I love how Nick just like punches her in the face.
I know, and then she goes flying. I wrote she goes flying. Like, she goes flying and lands on like a pillow, like
Yeah.
a big pillow patch.
I mean, it did look very comfortable and extremely fluffy.
It did.
It
And
did.
it also, when he does go into the house and he goes into her goddamn room again, she's got another shrine, but this time it's all her bed.
That
It's all the candles everywhere.
be like Nick Shrine 2.0 is pretty epic.
Yeah, Nick Shrine 2.0 is definitely like, oh, really? You wanted to tear my other one down? Well, watch out. This is my new. Like, it's definitely really funny. And then, of course, you see that they were going to take her to a facility, and I guess she like broke out, and that's why she was in the house in the first place.
Oh, okay.
And because they say like they're taking her down the coast, like that's when the lawyers in the car, like they're taking her down the coast. We suggest you go get your shit and move out now, because they're going to take her somewhere. So I guess she like breaks out or something, because the dad, like, it seems like the dad knows that she's back in the house. That's why he's like busting in.
Right.
And you see then the end, you see her like in a psychiatric facility, like talking to this doctor, and she's writing more letters to Nick. And then I love that and then you see Nick moved into a new place with Amy. And then she's just like, "Oh, you're late again." I was like, he's a shit writer. I just wrote, why does he still have a job? Like
Yeah,
he slept and she's like at work and they work together and he's just not there.
yeah. So, and I was confused. I was like, so I guess everything's cool. Like he still has a job. He's not being charged as trying to sexually assault a minor. So
Yeah.
I guess everything's fine.
They found semen. Like,
Yeah.
QSVU. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's just like so weird. Yeah, you see that like she's been writing letters to him. I was like, well, she knows where you live, so
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not that crazy. So I was like, oh shit, she's still on it. And then at the very end, you see her like in her cell, like staring at the doctor's photo.
Yeah, and
I was like,
you have that. She has that like very like slow smile, kind of like right across
Mhm.
the face, and then I think it like there's a freeze frame, then it like cuts to the credits.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, like
Yeah.
stops and like fades. I also really love the photo that Amy's developing. That it's actually Adrian.
Yeah. Oh,
She didn't take it. That's a great photo.
oh yeah. Well, and then I also love how well, it is a cool photo, and then I love the effect of like when she like throws the thing through the window and it like
Yeah,
fades to black. Like,
yeah.
yeah. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's what happens when you expose it to light
Oh,
in
okay.
developer. That's why you have to have like the red light and like the safe light and stuff. But yeah, oh my god. So now we can move on to the theme and mood. I don't have too much. We kind of talked about it. It's basically takes place in this guest house and the main house, which is also really great.
Mhm.
It's just very like antique old money. The
Yeah.
guest house is super nice.
It
It's incredible.
it's the architecture isn't exactly right, but it sort of has like a gothic feel to it. Like
Yeah,
kind
it
of sort
does.
of.
And it has those like really cool pane windows.
Yeah.
Those like diamond pane windows. I don't know what they're called, but they're really cool looking. I really like it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so we talked about the amazing guest house with those like cascading floral bushes that are like grown on the side of the house and like down the like stairs. Like it's just so cool. It just looks so
Yeah.
great. It looks so nice too.
God, again, just thinking about those '90s like r- rental prices. I like specifically wrote down the phrase "Yes, God, Daddy, give it to me now."
Yes, God, Daddy, give it to me now. Oh my God. I actually may have said that when my old college professor told me that she had an apartment in the West Village in Manhattan that she paid $200 a month
Oh
for.
my God, that
Yeah.
that
And she literally has lived there since like the 60s or
that
like 70s.
that is amazing.
Yeah. No, she has no children. Everyone in my class was just like, so
In
is anyone else trying to get in line for that apartment? I was like, well, unless you're related to her, you won't be able to stay on the lease and they're going to jack that shit up whenever she moves out or dies, I guess, like I was like, I'm sure she's never leaving that fucking apartment. Like she's lived there for like 50 years or something.
in terms of like '90s like movies, like houses and like places to live, do you have any like favorites like that like
Stand
stand out to you?
out.
Yeah,
I do love Cher's house.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Hers is pretty awesome. I really like the house in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like a big farmhouse with that big porch, and you can like see Seattle. Like you can see the sound,
Mhm.
I think, and then you can see like Seattle. That one's really cool. I'm trying to think of like some other. I do like her room in The Crush.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's very much like a girl's room. You can definitely see her age too. I also like the rooms a lot in 10 Things I Hate About You. Like the
Yeah.
two sisters' rooms, how cool they are. Do you have any favorites? I'm trying to think of like
I do. So it's not exactly a '90s movie, but the Diane Keaton's apartment in Annie Hall is like my dream place to
oh,
live. Like
oh
I
wow.
want
Yeah,
that
it is
apartment
really
so badly. Like and I mean that movie
nice. Yeah.
that movie was made in 1977 and her rent was $400 a month, which is like I'll take it.
Damn, and that's a lot then. Is that the
Yeah.
one where he goes like, it's $400 a month, but it's got bad thing and bug?
Yeah.
That, like, it's like that place is $400 a month?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. That house that they stayed in the Hamptons was pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, that was God, that was pretty great too.
Yeah, that was another good one. And I also love what's his name, Paul Simon's house when they
Yeah.
get to LA.
Yeah,
which is
yeah, that's good.
so cool. And I love their weird dancing, their weird 60s dancing where he's like touching her hand, but they're like not really touching and they're like doing this weird 60s kind of like bop. It's
Yeah.
so funny. I love that part of Annie Hall. I definitely want to as problematic as like the whole situation is with him, but
Yeah.
it's such a brilliant film though. It's just such a like it's just so crazy.
Yeah.
But Yeah. Okay. So, oh yeah. Do you have any more about the locations? Is that your favorite? Is Annie Hall?
Yes.
What's your favorite '90s one? Oh, the house in Scream was pretty cool. The one that
Oh,
Drew Barrymore lived
oh,
in.
oh yeah. Oh God, the location in Scream. Like I want to live in that town. Like I
Oh yeah,
mean,
Woodsboro.
yeah. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
it's pretty cool.
I don't know. His house seems fine, but seems a little like out there. Doesn't seem like there's a lot to do.
Yeah, it's like farmhouse.
I really like Sydney's house. Like
Oh
just
yeah,
like
hers is big.
yeah, because she like has those great views of like the like surrounding like landscape, and
Yeah, that's true.
she has like that great porch where she can just like walk around, and
And for her and her dad, that's a big house.
it
For
is.
two people. I mean, I know that like the mom was there too, but they don't have like tons of siblings. It's just like a big house. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. I definitely have to think of some more. I'm sure I mean, in Clueless, yeah, all the interiors are pretty cool except for that Valley house, but
that
all the other ones are pretty cool. You
that
couldn't really see the Valley house. It's
that
like a party house.
that Valley House seems like a great place to party, but not so great a place to live.
No, or
Like
like clean up or like wake up in the morning and be like, oh,
yeah,
what the fuck?
you can't leave.
Yeah, right. For the music, we mentioned it earlier. There's literally only like two songs, and they're in the very beginning.
Mhm.
It's really weird that okay, the first one's hard to get when he's like driving looking for places, but then when you first see her, there's this song called "Taste,"
Uh-huh.
and it's playing, and it's by Otto and Cherokee. The lyrics are really weird. It talks about like having a taste and stuff,
Huh.
and I'm like, we
Does
just saw her.
does that
Like,
play does that play when he almost hits her with the car?
maybe it's in the early bit. It's
Okay.
either it must be then or it's in when she's like when she comes to the door when he first gets in there and she's
Oh,
like,
okay.
hey. It's one
Okay.
of the times when they first meet and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. Let's move on to the
All
fashion.
right.
What notes do you have?
So I'm blanking on her name, but the actress who played Amy, I really love her clothes.
Yeah, I do
Um,
too. I wrote that down.
and I believe I read like a trivia piece on IMDb that the actress used her own clothes for like
All of them?
for I think she used it for at least like most of her shots. But there's one scene I think in like the very beginning when like she's wearing like kind of a flowy blouse. It's like I want to say it's striped and kind of like big long like baggy pants, and she's wearing like a pair of like slender suspenders.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, I have that written down. Suspenders, striped shirt, muted tones.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Adrian's party dress, which I really like, and then
Yeah, that was cool.
I also love her w- riding outfit, like
Oh, I know.
not the one she goes to like his work party in, but I think like the first one when like they first meet, and she's kind of like leaning up against the car. I think she's wearing kind of like a green like seafoam top.
Yeah, she is.
Um,
She also has a cool outfit when she goes riding, when she has that when she knocks the girl off the horse and it's like a blue
yeah,
shirt, and then she has like the riding pants. They're really
yeah.
cool.
And then for fashion, the other thing is I loved the final outfit that Amy is wearing in like her last scene. That's like kind of like that.
Oh, it
Again,
is
it's like kind of those big like kind of like pilly pants that kind of look like something that like Denise Huxtable wore in like the credits of the Cosby Show. You
love
know?
Lisa.
Oh my god, I do too. She's so awesome.
Oh my god, I love her so much. I love her. I love Jason Momoa. I love Zoe. I love Lenny. Like it's too much.
And
It's too much.
and like I don't know if this is true or not, but I'd like to think that they're all like really good friends. You
No,
know,
they are.
they
They're
are.
like
Oh
good
my god.
friends.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
It literally is. Yeah, I think the other day for Lisa Bonet's birthday, it was a picture of like Jason Momoa and Lenny Kravitz, and they're like, "Hey, girl." I was like, "Lisa Bonet has won at life." I don't know if anyone has figured this out yet,
Yeah,
but she literally has two of the hottest men on the planet, like
yeah.
still in her life, like married to one and has an amazing daughter and relationship with her first husband.
Oh my god, and Zoe Kravitz looks so much like her too. Like,
It's incredible.
yeah.
It's so incredible how much they look alike. It's
Hmm.
just so crazy. They look like sisters.
Yeah, I know.
They really don't look like their mom and daughter at all. But oh god, everything Lisa Bonet wears all the time is
Yeah.
just like. And she actually did her clothes for the Cosby Show.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, like she had a very strong sense of style, and she's like, I want to do the clothes. I want to wear my own clothes. Which fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any other notes?
No, I don't.
Okay, I have love the sunnies that she has on throughout the whole film, which is even the cover of the movie. It's like her in those sunglasses. I said Amy. I love the suspenders. Same thing. Adrian, I really love the outfit that she has on the swing. It's like a chambray. It's like a chambray like shorts or maybe like a skirt, and then she has that white shirt that ties like a midriff tie that was really big in the 90s, and then she has the sunglasses. Like I love how she has the same shades on all the time, and she has the Walkman. I think it's like sitting on the side, and she has the headphones, and I was like, oh my god, it's so cute, like it's so cool. And then he's like, can you stop swinging? And she's like, why? She's like swinging, like I think he's like, we should stop seeing each other, and she's like, no, or something. She said that really crazy.
But she has that scene when they're on the swing, and like he's like trying to reason with her, and she's just like, so Nick, have you ever done a virgin or something?
Yeah. Well, then she tells him that she got her period. I was like, okay.
Whoa. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to know that.
And it's weird that she's like, I got my period, so I'm not pregnant. And I was like, did they sleep together? Do we miss a whole scene? Like, why is she bringing that up? Like, what if she was like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant with some guy in high school? Like why? Why is she bringing this up? And then she says that she's a virgin anyway. So I was like, what? So is he going to be impressed by the fact that you have a period and you're not pregnant? Is that what the vibe is? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know. I maybe teenage boys are easier to impress. I don't really understand.
Charles, he's not fucking a teenager. Not him 20 years old. Like he's 30. He probably should like have a child her age. I don't know. Like it's crazy. Isn't he 14 years older?
Yeah.
Could have had a teenage child that was her age. She could have had like a very, very young child and been her age. It's nuts. Do you have any favorite scenes? I didn't write any down, but I sort of have.
I mean, not really. I mean, like, I love this movie, but it's like it's not a movie that's like fun to watch. Like, no. I mean, it like once it gets going, like, I mean, I just find that I can't stop, and like and like I'm just so absorbed in like the sequence of events. I'm just not really like. It's weird because I'm not aware that I'm watching a movie. Like it's
true. It moves fast and it's very like entertaining. Like you're definitely like, oh, what's gonna happen next? And it really is Alicia Silverstone she really carries the whole film.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She's just so great at that.
Role. Like one of the things that stands out to me is after he's been arrested and she's giving her statement to the police.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh god, it's like not a fun scene to watch, but it's like done really well. Like,
she's acting really well in it. Yeah, she's very like, you can just tell how her whole body changes.
Yeah,
and she's just very like, you really believe her.
Yeah,
I mean, you totally believe her. That's true. I don't have any favorite scenes. I just have to say that I really love the interaction between Amy and Adrian.
Yeah, I do too.
Like at all times, I think they're probably my favorite because it's really funny, like seeing a young girl being like, bitch, I know your game. Like, I was young too. Like, don't try it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not cool. Like, it's really not cool. Like, find someone your own age. But then you remember when you're younger, you always like people that are older. You know, it's just like kind of how it is. Like you never like anyone your age. I mean, you do, but you always have crushes on people that are like way older. But this is like obviously taking the crush a bit too far. And then for my worst scene, I just have like, dear God, being trapped in a dark room with wasps.
Oh,
like,
God.
I mean, that's
traumatic.
So traumatic. That's probably even more traumatic than seeing a goddamn carousel in an attic of an old house. Like a full-size carousel. Okay, also another real estate point, the fucking ceilings in the attic. That's a big space that you've managed to put a real carousel in. Yeah. You know how high the ceilings are? Like,
and why would you bring a carousel up to the attic? Like, don't you have a backyard?
Piece by piece up there. He's like, I brought it piece by piece. I'm like, she's 14 now, trying to bang a dude in the backyard. I don't think she cares about this. And she even said, I ride real horses now, Dad. I don't ride. This is your carousel. I don't ride this. I ride real horses. I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, and my most 90s moments. Do you have any worse scenes? Is there anything worse than
like, I mean, I think we've talked about most of them. Just like, I'm trying to think. There's like a scene when like I think it's like fairly early in the movie, and she like calls him, and he's like working on his article, and she's like, "Come on, Nick, can't you come out and play?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, no, it's all like, ooh, no.
Like, but yeah.
And he shouldn't be like flirty laughing, like, no, I'm working. It should be absolutely not. I am 28 years old and this is not cool. Like,
Yeah.
literally knock it off, you
Yeah.
know? Never once. Like, he kind of does, but in a very like weird way, in a very kind of like, he never is forceful. Like, even when he's forceful, she's like, oh, like it's never like, no, really, I'm gonna tell your parents and it's over. Oh yeah, and another little note that we forgot. Apparently, Cheyenne lets it spill that a camp counselor the year before ate something poisonous and died.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And nobody can really prove that she did it, but Cheyenne's like, this bitch did it. Like, she fucking did it. Let me tell you this. Like, she totally just says like, oh yeah, it's kind of like happened
Yeah,
like that.
and like Adrian's smart and she knows stuff that like other kids don't. So
Yeah, totally. Like bugs and wasp habits. Wasp social habits, throwing them into a fucking exhaust. I don't know. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
That was just so bad. My most 90s moments, I have three. One was the amount of maps that he uses in the beginning.
Yeah.
It just seems like they would fly out of the car, the convertible, because he just has all these maps everywhere. And then I have, the time when people didn't back up their work on computers.
Oh, I mean,
And then I have rotary phone. Those are my three.
Yeah, I think that's most of them. I think there's a scene when like she's sunbathing and she calls someone like a cell phone.
Oh yeah, that big.
And it's like one of those big like Zach Morris Saved by the Bell phones.
It's a flip phone though.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a flip. Yeah, she's got the flip with the antenna that pulls out.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to pull it out. It was so satisfying to hang up those phones where you like close the antenna and then flip the top in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sucks about these phones now. You can't like hang anything up. You're just like dot. You just like tap it. Cool. Yeah. Do you have any more 90s moments?
I don't believe so. I think you talked about most of them. Like some of the shirts he's wearing is like very like,
It's very 90s.
wearing like a couple shirts that are just like all denim, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
And then
very lackluster.
and like I guess like wearing sweatshirts out in public was like appropriate back then. So,
Hey, it still is now.
I mean-
Apparently, I read a New York Times article that sweatpants sales have gone through the roof since lockdown.
okay.
Yeah, jeans have gone down 80% because who the fuck's wearing jeans in their own house? Like,
Yeah.
let's be real.
I want to say I did love his outfit when he shows up for his first day of work. He's wearing like a blazer and like a button-down shirt and a tie on top, and then like for pants he's just wearing jeans.
Yeah, that is very 90s.
Yeah.
Very Seinfeld.
Mhm.
Then he just like stopped trying. Then he
Yeah.
like shows up to work in like an untucked shirt and just kind of like was like, hey, like, what's going on here? I don't understand. This movie is. We have way more questions about this film than likes, but it was really interesting talking about it. I really hope everybody has seen it.
Yeah.
Or we'll go see it because it's really good to see Alicia Silverstone's first role and kind of see a totally different side of her than in Clueless.
Yeah.
Which most people know her from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I totally forgot to say it again, but like and subscribe. Maybe I did. I don't know. Leave a 5-star review, all that jazz. This was super fun, as always.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we will, I don't know what we're going to do. We might do First Wives Club. Who the hell knows? But
Yeah, play it by ear.
yeah, we'll play it by ear. And we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.